I assume, probably because we're close to the same age, that you grew up like I did, just digging Rocky and Bullwinkle like crazy as a kid, but not really understanding it until you were a little older.
You see, I explained this to somebody. I didn't understand it, so that sort of notched me. And if you look at them closely, you know, they're not the height of animation technique.
No.
So I was a little more gravitated to the Bugs Bunnies and the Magilla Gorillas and the Hanna-Barberas and that kind of stuff.
They weren't elaborate at all.
No.
But they were written very elaborately.
Very smart, very funny. But so when I got the tapes, you know, to prepare for the film, and I started looking at them again, I went, this is really funny. Where was I? You know, I did not get them as a kid.
Okay, now as an adult, what did you get about them that really you
Well,
liked?
first of all, I sit back and I go, look at all this political humor in a cartoon. They're doing Cold War jokes. They're doing, you know, inside showbiz jokes. You know, before Hollywood was, you know, the lead news story on every newscast. So it was just a little ahead of its time. You know, pop culture and political humor. I mean, they were sort of the Doonesbury of their time, and who knew it?
You've been in pretty wacky stuff before.
Yep.
So I'm assuming with you this is not a new experience.
Nope.
But different.
Yeah, you know, it's I've never been in anything that really just required being silly. You know, there's this is none of the things actors usually look for: the character arc, the character growth, the big important scene, the
subtext,
yeah,
backstory.
This is just how many different ways can I fall and bunk my head and that kind of stuff. It's just goofiness.
Is that freedom fun as an actor sometimes?
Yeah, yeah. To have nothing on anything except, you know, how many different ways can you goof it up?
I don't know if you did what I did too when I first found out that.
I'm sorry, they're shooting.
When I first found out that Robert De Niro was doing this, I went, what?
Yeah.
Did you do that too?
Well, actually, people said, you're doing a De Niro film? And I go,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's more like Raging Bullwinkle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought he would have a lot more trouble than he did. I knew he was good at comedy. I've seen him be very, very funny, but I've never seen him be silly. And I thought, he's not going to do this. He's going to, you know, heighten it in some way so that it's going to have a more serious tone.
Well, I have an idea that on the set, on the making, and you correct me, that on the set, you know, he prepares like he would for anything.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty intense stuff.
He sits very quietly, you know, kind of in the chair and keeps his head down, and you go, should I talk to him? Should I leave him alone? And Renee and I decided that we would just goof on him, so that's what we did. And
Good.
then we just built a camaraderie.
Because he does have a sense of humor. It's
He
there.
does, absolutely.
You got to find it, but it's there.
No, he's very funny. He's actually very funny if you give him a chance. He's just not gregarious about it in life. But boy, you turn a camera on him, he goes for it.
There you go. He even mocks himself. He even mocks the "you
How
talking
about
to me"
that?
line.
Yeah. How about that?
Is that great? That's good stuff. Hey, Jerome Robbins' Broadway knocked me out when I saw you do
thank
that
you very
years
much.
ago. And I don't think there's anything more thrilling than really wonderful theater. Movies do it, and they do it from time to time. But theater's kind of transforming.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that most of your background, your early background?
It was where all my training was sort of geared towards. It was every fantasy I had about, you know, having a career was in the theater. It was all I really cared about, and all this other stuff has just been kind of a surprise and an interesting journey.
I've watched Broadway change a lot, and some of it not for the better, and some of it yes. How are actors in New York feeling about this at this point? Are they troubled?
There is a lot of work to be had, but in some ways Broadway is going through exactly what the rest of the industry is going through. There's a big youth market that's being serviced. So stuff with more varied and adult content is not being given the weight it should. You also have an inclination to hire not the tried and true actors as kids, and a lot of that is for no other reason than economics. The cost of doing a show has gone up so high that if you have to meet my quote or meet, you know, a first-timer's quote, you're going to go with that first-timer if he can get anywhere near the job, because it's insane. We have $80 and $100 tickets out there now because shows that should cost $1 million to mount cost $5 million. So, you know, a lot of it is economic driven. A lot of it is the audience is getting exactly what they want. And what I think we need is to give the audience, is to trust that the audience will rise to grander and better material. Right now, they're saying, let's entertain them, and there's always a great market for that. Entertainment is a great thing, and it's always been part of the theater scene, and particularly the Broadway scene. But important theater, for the most part, is not being done on Broadway anymore. It's not gone, it's just moved off Broadway and off Broadway, or it's moved in to other cities and regional work. But it's a shame that it doesn't have a home on the big stage right now. And it'll come back again. It's all cycles, but...
You're going to probably open in Vegas soon. It looks like some of that's going there.
It could.
That's
It
interesting.
very well
Yeah.
could.